Hey team, Heather here. Today we are going to talk about one part of our three pillar system. So, as you may know or be aware of, here we talk about the three pillars that every single e-commerce sales channel should be built around. And hopefully this is working today. All right, it is. So we have our sales, and we have marketing, and we have management. Every single solitary thing that we do within e-commerce is geared towards one of these three areas. Okay, so today we are talking about the sales. In particular, we're going to talk more specifically about one of we're going to break it down even further, I think is a great way to describe it. So we're breaking down our e-commerce a little bit more. Within the sales, you have a three-part system with that as well. So let's just kind of, let's do this. We have over here, we have our competitive assortment. You have distribution, and you have a long-term plan. Okay, those are three parts that make the e-commerce sales channel under strategic sales, work and be competitive. So it's kind of like, if you think about this, let's put it this way. You need to make sure you have a strategic sales plan, and those plans need to be geared towards those three key elements that we mentioned. And the three key elements are competitive assortment, distribution, and long-term growth plan. Okay, when you have those in place, then you're all set. But what happens if you don't? If you don't have a strategic sales plan, what happens to you? Well, first thing is you're kind of worried that you're not going to sell anything. So you have no sales. And that's not good. No sales. That's not how you spell that, Heather. No sales. And also you're going to be worried that you're frustrated because you're not growing at the rate you want to grow at, right? So you're feeling a little stagnant. What you want is consistent order flow. You want to know that day in and day out, you can count on orders coming in. And if you can do that, if you can manage the orders that are starting to flow in on a regular basis, it then gets you to where you want to be, which is a 7-figure e-com sales channel, right? You want to hit that magical at least 1 million. So how do we do that? Well, here's the thing. This are the we have some opportunities that we can focus on here, right? So, let's go back to our triangle. Let's talk about it this way. Okay, so what are some 3 opportunities that you can focus on within your e-commerce sales strategy? Well, you want to rank higher in your search pages, right? You also want to have more product reviews. These are things that really help you. And, well, at the end of the day, when you do all of that, guess what happens? Your order volume increases. Okay. So let's talk about this in as it relates to a practical sense. There's a company that is a furniture brand, and it's a very small company. And this individual, his name is Lawrence. Anyway, so Lawrence wanted to expand. He had some things that he did well, and he wanted to grow his line. So he wanted to add on like end tables and coffee tables and desks and all sorts of things like that, which is wonderful. But he also had things in his line like hooks and light bulbs and shelving and everything like that. And at the end of the day, what he kind of figured out is he could double down and do what he was doing really well, get that base business going, and then begin to expand. So that's what he's decided to do. He's going to focus on his hooks and his shelving and really do those incredibly well so that he can have consistent order flow that will give him the cash flow to reinvest and expand. Okay? Make sense? Anyway, so that then kind of leaves us with, we need kind of, what are some big key areas that we can focus on, right? So, for instance, you want to have. Let's look at this way. We're gonna do another little. Let's do a little model here. Okay, so if we have 5 more areas that we can work on, what are those? So let's just start right here. The first of which is you want to do a market analysis. Why do you want to do that? Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Next, you want to have your sweet spot pricing. You also want to be focused on your top sellers. And you want to do some review research. And last but not least, you want to be able to play the algorithm. Okay, so let's dive into this a little bit more. Let's talk about the importance of doing your market analysis and how that affects your competitive assortment. So you need to make sure when you are building your e-commerce program or your brand, you want to have a competitive assortment. How do you find out if you do that? Well, there are a couple of key things you can do, and the first of which is a market analysis. So if you are just very beginning and you don't even have a line or a program in place, not to worry. You can hit the ground running by focusing on doing a lot of research. So it's old school and it's really simple. But if you start looking at, let's say you want to make coffee tables. Okay, you want to be in coffee tables. Fabulous. You need to first decide, where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the good, the better, or the best category? And what does that look like? And you know what? It just occurred to me that y'all might not be familiar with the good, better, best model, so let me explain that. In good, that is where you are in the entry level price point. Okay, that's where you're just, you're the good equals entry level. Okay, and then better is, you guessed it, it's more of that mid price range. It's little above entry level, so you're in the mid range. And best, now best can mean different things to different people. If you literally are in RTA furniture and you are, very entry level price point, think Walmart.com, then, your best isn't going to be some grand scheme of things, right? Your best is going to be a higher end version of your entry level items. So it's the highest version of yourself. Okay? It's not reinventing the wheel, okay? So the first thing you want to do is decide, where are you going to enter the market? Are you going to enter it good, better, or best? And how do you discover that? Well, you have to do some market research. The simplest way to do this is to actually go to, let's say, Wayfair or Walmart.com, Amazon, any of the internet retailers. And you want to, excuse me, I'm going to get a sip of my tea. You want to look at the first couple of pages, right? You want to search through and you want to look at what do the first few pages of product look like in a given category. So let's say it's end tables or coffee tables, right? Coffee tables is, I guess, what we talked about. And so you want to look first, you want to take away all of the sponsored products, anything that's being paid to be there, because those don't count. Then you want to start to look at design aesthetic. You want to look at the price point. You want to look at reviews, all of that information. And when you do that, you'll be able to get an understanding of what's successful in the market. Take that one step further, you can then decide, is this a market that I'm able to go into? You can also go and look up like at some popular sites like the Home Furnishings Network site, HFN. You can look at a couple other places, but really your best bet is to do your own market research. And it's just good old fashioned diving in. People are going to try and sell you programs and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't spend the money on that right now. You're really much better off just examining what is working out in the wild, as they say. Okay? So, once you determine your good, better, best, where you're going into that, and you determine, what are the popular stylings and what are the things that are selling actively and the price point and so forth, you want to look at what can you add that's different in that category. How can you make an impact to make your products kind of shine in there? So if you can do all of that, then you're ready and to really start diving in, and you can build your program accordingly. So let's kind of go back, and I just want to recap a little bit to make this really clear. Okay, so you want to always make sure that you are focused on sales, marketing, and management. Under those three things, we have competitive assortment, we have distribution, and we have long-term growth plans. Okay? Within competitive assortment, you have to break it down even further, right? So just to recap, you're breaking down your competitive assortment even further. You want to do you want to take a time and do your market research. You want to research price. You want to research design. And you want to research reviews. And you want to then come to a conclusion of how can you be different? What can you add? It's all about that. If you can have a clear differentiator, then I highly suggest you enter that market at that price point. All right. Hope you found this helpful. And if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and comment below. If you comment below, just put research and we'll reach out for you. You can also just send me a DM if you want. All right. Thanks, guys. And I'll be back on Thursday to talk a little bit more about this. All right. Bye.